Hello and welcome to Oakfield Farm on Farming Simulator 2017. You join us here literally immediately after the last episode. There has been nothing in the slightest done. I didn't even push a button on the keyboard between the last episode and this one. But what we're going to do is we are going to head down to the shop and rent ourselves a windrower in our Case IH Magnum CDX with the crawler tracks restored back onto it. We need to remember, now that we have an unnamed horse on the farm, that we need to close the gates behind us. If you haven't watched the last episode, I encourage you to do so, because I'm requesting names for our unnamed pony that we bought in the last episode, and if you have any name suggestions, leave it in the comments of that video, which should be episode 11 if I'm not mistaken. And the most popular one will be announced on, I think, episode 16. So a few episodes to go before it gets announced, but I'd like to give it a little bit of time to actually have some suggestions put on it. So we're heading down to the shop to get a windrower so that we can windrow the sheep pasture that we cut in the previous episode. We as well renting one of a reasonable size, to be honest. Not going to go over the top or anything, but something a bit reasonable wouldn't go amiss. This tractor, I will admit, is a bit out of place on the farm. I'm not massively ecstatic about it being on the farm. Certainly not a bad tractor, not by any measure. It's a very nice tractor indeed. It's just a bit out of place. I may replace it for something else at some point. I do have plenty of mods, so I may actually replace it with a Massey Ferguson or maybe even a JCB. John Deere's appear to be cursed for me. I know they are a popular choice of tractor, but at this very roundabout, not but a few episodes ago, I had a John Deere lying on its side with a fully loaded bale trailer attached to it. Admittedly my own fault, but still I'm going to blame the tractor because I'm perfect in every way and there's just no possible way that I would make a silly mistake like overloading a trailer and then going round the corner too fast. You know, I'm just perfect. Everything I do is top notch. So we'll just leave our tractor in the middle of the way there. And we need a windrower, or a weeder, plough, cultivator. Where is it? Windrowers. £62,000. How big is it? 14.8 metres. We'll just lease it. It's only £500 a day. We may keep it for a little while. What I wanted to check is how much are forage harvesters? A lot would be the answer to that. £1,500 a day this one costs. Well, how much is this baby one? 810 a day. Why is there such a difference between them? It's just crazy. Right, so if we were to lease that, then 20 grand, that's not bad. Okay, that was just a bit of fact finding there. Obviously I do have the Rostamash pack from Giants. This tractor's filthy. I thought I washed it last time. So it seems like we put the crawler tracks on to specifically go out into the road. Helpful if I was on the right side of it. I think I've done that in Euro Truck Simulator as well recently. Pulled out onto the wrong side of the road. Kind of not advised. So many trees. Right here was where the John Deere crashed, and instead I'm going over the middle of the roundabout this time. So, we are heading back to Oakfield Farm. Not sure if that, actually yeah, that is what the farmyard itself is called. What equipment do I have at the back of Field 24? I didn't think I had anything at the back of Field 24. We'll have to come down with the Toyota Hilux and have a look and see what that is. I remember what that is. That is the tow bar that we forgot to pick up. We've left the tow bar down at the shop. maybe the best place for it, admittedly. We'll probably go down with the Hilux and get it at some point. I just got a glimpse of that on the map. So, it's getting quite late in the evening. I have reduced the time speed, just because I need to get a little bit more done today. I'd like to get the glass, it's not something you want to find in your field, the grass collected from our sheep pasture, empty sheep pasture. There's no sheep. There's no sheep in it at this point. There may be in the future, but at this point there's not. So we've just gone down past the sawmill, which is the way I'd usually go in. We're going to go in the next road, which will take us down past fields 2 and 14. And the reason for that is it takes us straight to the field that we're going to. So it's just here that we're going in. Wait for the traffic to clear. Road's slowest pickup. I think that's the same guy that got really jealous about our Toyota Hilux in the last episode. There's some of my dodgy driving there. Probably better to stay in cab view so no one notices how bad my driving is. A nice little single track road. Stone Dyke Wall inside there as well. I love the level of detail on this map. It'd be nice to see it in full graphics, but I do love the level of detail even at the graphics level that I'm at. I do apologise about clearing my throat. I seem to be getting ill, which is not the nicest thing to have to deal with, ever. I hate being ill. I'm a typical man when I'm ill. I get man flu and you know, die every time I get the sniffles. This thing is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So we'll just lower it and try and line it up with the edge of the field somehow. And turn it on. We'll do like we did before. We'll do the edge of the field and then we may just go around the field in rings. You're not going to get every single last bit. That's fine. I don't mind leaving a little bit. So we'll be doing this field multiple times in the future anyway, so we'll get all the grass eventually. Well, hopefully this gives us a good yield. It looks like quite a pile that it's creating anyway, so... Been nice if the lawnmowers would have windrowed it for me. I suppose they did kind of, but more reasonably than they did. This is a huge windrower, so it'll take us no time at all. It's going to take us a little bit of time to clean up around the troughs and things at the bottom, but that's just because I don't think this windrower is actually going to fit in there. So try and get as much of it as we can. The less we leave, the better, for obvious reasons. The windrower through the hedges there as well. You know, pick up a few leaves and maybe the occasional hedgehog too. I don't condone animal cruelty. If you are a farmer and you windrow up hedgehogs, I frown upon you. That's not nice. Unless, of course, the hedgehogs have been trying to kill you or something, in which case they clearly had it coming. Even still, you should be ashamed of yourself. Picking a fight on an adorable little hedgehog like that. Yep, I think it's official. I've clearly lost my mind. In the last episode I was talking to the horse, and in this one I'm talking about hedgehogs. For the people that know me losing my mind is probably not something that's new. Making It's short work of this field, that's for sure. We missed a little bit on the corner there. That's fine, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. I think it's just because we're turning. Every time we turn we seem to miss a bit. I suppose that's kind of to be expected. We'll get this windrow, we'll get it collected, and we'll get it used today as well. That's the important part. Hopefully we'll get to do all that in this episode, because I don't want to make these episodes kind of too tedious. I want to actually get things done in them. If this episode is a little bit longer, that will be why. Just simply to get stuff done. I'll try and make as much use of this windrower as I can go over quite a bit more. This tractor's obviously got significantly more power than the Fendt, and also it's got a much lighter load than the Fendt too. The Fendt had 2 sets of lawnmowers on it, this just has this dinky wee windrower. And yes, that was meant ironically. But this windrower is basically just a frame with a few motors on it, whereas the lawnmowers are obviously heavy equipment. And this is where a real farmer comes in on the comments and tells me that windrowers somehow manage to weigh more than lawnmowers in some kind of illogical reality, but we'll see. It looks like this would be lighter than what is effectively 3 lawnmowers. Made a big mess in that corner. We'll try and clean that up when we go to collect. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll jump cut to the end of windrowing, just to save you a bit of boredom, and I will see you in just a minute. And I'm back. So I've already done a lot of the cleaning up around the troughs at the bottom here, and also around the field, picking up all the bits of mist, hence the grass is already in the forage harvester here. I figured I'd just go and pick this up while I was off camera, save a bit of time. So now we just have to collect all this and then put it to use. I haven't had a full load from it yet. Like I said, I was just picking up all of the mist bits and things like that, neatening it up, so it should just be the windrows left. I say skeptically. I'm hoping to get 2.5 maybe loads out of this field. Any more than that is just bonus. It's filling up quite quickly now. I was kind of getting a bit worried when I was picking up the bits and pieces here and there, because it was taking ages. I think doing all of it got me like 30% or so maybe, and that's with my turning around straight through the middle of the windrows with the forage harvester on, which is totally the recommended thing to do. So some of these trees, if they are able to be cut down, more than likely will be. There's one of our cows there. So almost full in this first trip round, which is nice. I don't think this one will really join on the way the rest will. Just a little bit more. That's us full here. What we're actually going to do is we're not going to go back out through the farm, because a good chunk of this first load is actually going to go straight to the cows. So there is a gate between the two fields. I'll leave it open in the meantime. My cows are very well trained not to leave their field. You know, I spent good money training them on not to leave their field. So And besides, there's no grass in the sheep field, so they shouldn't be overly enticed to come over. So the trough, which I believe takes this, is this one down here. I might be wrong on this, but anything that produces better quality milks and happier better quality milk and happier cows is fine by me. It's going to take quite a bit, isn't it? No, not really. Is that tractor still coming? No? Okay. We'll jump out it while it was moving. So we now have 2 open gates in our cow pasture, but we are just going to leave it that way for the time being. Just simply because we can. And I'm hoping that this goes in. It should be this one that this goes in. Yeah, wrong one. Is this not a... Is this maybe a manure bunker? Let me just check. Turn the help window on. No, this is a... This is a... This is a proper bunker for this, so it tells me. I'm not kidding about unloading. I would like you to actually unload. So we'll compact it later on. Nice little pile we've got in the corner there already. Hoping to actually fill that silage clamp. We didn't completely empty our trailer, but it got us down to 0%, but we still have 9 litres of grass in here, which in reality is not very much. I completely missed that opening in the gate. That's just it's just typical of my driving, actually. So straight back to it. See how many loads we can get out of this. We don't have any proper compacting equipment, so it will just be a tractor that gets ran over all for the time being anyway. It's filling up really quick, which is nice. The quicker it fills up, the better. It's starting to get late at night. We will probably need to get someone into field 13 to cultivate it. We need that cultivated. Actually, no, we don't. We don't need it cultivated. I am talking out a hole in a place that YouTube will not let me mention. So we'll just get a hired worker into that field. We'll probably give them this tractor to do it. This is the tractor that was actually used to plough that field. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was. And we'll get them seeding that field. We will spray it first. Probably spray it off camera. In fact, I did spray it, I think. It's been that long since I recorded any episodes on this map. I can't remember everything that's been done. I will check, but either way, if it needs sprayed, I'll spray it off camera. If it doesn't, I will obviously not spray it. It would be pointless spraying it again if it doesn't need it. This is already at 60%. So it's wanting 2.5. We've already had one, and we're definitely going to get our second, I'd say. Don't know if we'll get the half. But not bad for a field that technically isn't even numbered. We'll do the same in our cow pasture, but we'll do it slightly differently. We'll do it, we'll prep for it off camera. And we may time lapse doing that one because it's I think a bigger field. I think, not 100% sure on that. Looks like it may be a bigger field. And 91% is hopefully going to fill us up roughly at the end of this one. It would be nice putting us in line for the gate. Will it? I think it's going to be a little bit soon. Ah, it's close. So we'll just try to get down here without running over any of our cows. It's probably not advised. So the grass does seem to get lighter in the silage clamp for some reason. I'll put this one in this corner, kind of. Like so. That's fully unloaded to a pretty reasonable pile so far, so we should at least get this back wall up to a good height. I do love these fence posts, they make me so happy. Can you not tell by the enthusiasm in my voice? Try and not run over that cow. We've got 2 grass fields up there and a grass field down there that we also need to cut, so I should fill the silage clamp in theory. If not, then we'll think of something else. Well, this is just the first cut of the year, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. I do still have all of my grass bales and silage bales that I use to feed the cows for the time being anyway. So not overly worried. It would just be nice. I've never actually filled a complete silage clamp before, if I'm being honest, in any of the games, not without cheating anyway. I got close to it once in Farming Simulator 2011. That was where they released the first BGA plant as a free DLC, or an update should I say. I think it was actually in some kind of a special edition of the game that I got that, but that was the closest I got. So hopefully I will actually meet that milestone this time round. Never done it before, always wanted to. So I missed a little bit there. So I don't know what's happening with my rows here, but I'm going to go this way. So we might actually end up with 3 full trailer loads from this field, which is no bad thing. I need to remember that I have the IT runner, which has all sorts of fancy attachments I can get for it. I haven't used it at all in this map yet. I basically just parked it up in a shed, and that's where it's stayed ever since. That corner just proved to be a little bit too tight there. I will refrain from making a sex-related joke there. So yeah, should get maybe the majority of a load anyway. There's kind of a, I'm not sure if it's technically cheating or not, but the way that I usually do before harvesting is I'll get the single lawnmower attachment on the front of a tractor and the forage harvester on the back, and collect as I cut. But it's not overly realistic, I wouldn't expect. Not to mention that when it comes to the likes of corners and things, it is a pain in an unmentionable place. As you can imagine. So we may get sheep at some point, and probably get them at some point through spring. Sorry, through summer. We'll get them through summer, I think. No point getting them just now. We've got cows. Cows are bringing us in more money than sheep will for the time being anyway. Might also get pigs too. Pigs are quite easy. I say that, and there's probably loads of people shouting at their computers just now saying that pigs are labour intensive. It's true, but cows are more labour intensive, so compared to cows, pigs are easy. Okay. feed a pig and you water a pig, and that's you. And I have a mod that has the pig food on a what's it called again? A silo, pig food silo, that I can purchase pig food from. Just put it straight into a tipper, and I can place it in the pig farm itself. So that does kind of make it significantly easier. So that's us done with this field now, so I'll just close the gate if it lets me. There we go. Jumping over the gate again. And back into our tractor to go and fill in a space in our silage clamp. I'll close the gate down here as well, because there's just getting a little bit too much attention down here, I think. Is that the mess they've made? That's mental. I don't even think I have a shovel for my Merlot. I did check, by the way. Merlot is owned by us. It's always nice to know what you own and what you don't. I think everything on the farm, bar the windrower, is currently owned by us. I think. I'll find out when it comes time to actually pay my rental fees. But we'll just tip this right in the middle, like roughly there. I love how it just says no every now and again. No, continue. There we go. Now I'll use this tractor because it has tracks on it to drive over the silage. I'll use the tracks on it to do that. What we'll also do is I'll just put the help window on so we know how compacted it is. 1%. Should have probably filled it out a little bit better than we did. Probably a better way of doing this nowadays. In fact, I know there's proper compacting tools and things that would do this for me. But waste not, want not, and all that. So, see if I can just force this tractor to do things that it really doesn't seem to want to. I should use the Toyota Hilux for this, actually. It would do this no problem at all. So we have nearly 90,000 litres of chaff in here. Some of it has spilled at the back there, which is a little bit annoying. But what can you do? Not even sure if these rear wheels are the ones that are compacting it here. It seems to be spreading out with the front wheels more than it does the back. I'll turn around and see what happens. See if this helps any. Not really. Maybe a little bit. I'm not sure if the Toyota would actually be allowed to compact this. Just drive back and forth, compacting it loads of times. You think a big tractor like this would compact it really easily, but maybe it's because I've got ridiculously high points and corners here. Kind of downside to the way I unloaded, I suppose. see if I can just kind of bring them down a little bit, or at least into the corners a bit better. It's certainly looking a bit more even, apart from up the back. It's not looking even there at all. About 80% compacted. Oh, it's a slightly longer episode this time, I think, but that's okay. It's okay to have a longer episode every now and again. Unless, of course, you tell me otherwise, that you prefer the half-hour long episodes. In which case, if that is the case, I'll stick to them to the best of my ability. We're at 96%, 97, 98, 99. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'll leave this tractor here. I'll quickly sprint down to the Toyota, because I want to see if the Toyota has the ability to compact our silage. Be very cool if it does. I have no doubt. Oh, I ran through a hedge there. To start up our beast of a truck. A truck with enough power that it isn't actually moving, it's moving the world underneath it. That was from an advert or a TV program from the 90s, I think, that statement. So let's see if we can... Yep, it does compact it. Look at that. Toyota Hilux is right at home here. No problem with this kind of terrain whatsoever. So we will just park the Toyota up here and leave the case there for the night. So yeah, that was a good lot of grass we got there. Not as much as I'd like, but we'll get there. How full is the actual bunker? Chaff fill level. Is there a fill percentage on this? No idea. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. I'm going to leave it here for now. If you have enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, as it does help. Don't forget to comment, and bear in mind, if you go to the previous episode, which I believe was episode 11, and leave me a comment on what we should name our pony, that would be helpful too. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want. It does help out an awful lot. You hear a lot of YouTubers say that, but it does genuinely help out an awful lot. Also, it would help if you could tell all your friends about the channel and ask for them to subscribe too. That would be very much appreciated. But that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.